Donald Trump, not known for his modesty, never stops bragging about the fact that he wrote The Art of the Deal. It seems that when it comes to his role as commander-in-chief, he sees himself as almost the great negotiator. And when it comes to North Korea, you could argue that his approach kind of worked.
He is a sick puppy.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
Since taking office, Donald Trump has played up the so-called threat of another geopolitical rival of America.
Threat posed by Iran,
whose chief exports are violence, bloodshed, and chaos.
All nations of conscience must work together to isolate Iran.
For a minute, it started to look like things were cooling off, and maybe talks were on the table.
I believe in meeting. I would certainly meet with Iran if they wanted to meet. I'm ready to meet anytime they want to.
But Iran's supreme leader wasn't having it.
There will be no war, nor will we negotiate with the U.S. It is impossible. But even if someday the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran were to negotiate with the U.S. regime, it would never negotiate with the current government of the U.S.
And then there's Turkey and its detention of Pastor Andrew Brunson, who Turkish authorities say was tied to the 2016 coup attempt. Now, Trump says he wants him released.
The United States will impose large sanctions on Turkey for their long-time detainment of Pastor Andrew Brunson. This innocent man of faith should be released immediately. I have just authorized a doubling of tariffs on steel and aluminium. With respect to Turkey, as their currency, the Turkish lira slides rapidly downward against a very strong dollar. Our relations with Turkey are not good at this time.
But Turkey isn't going to budge, and just like Trump, Erdogan knows how to talk tough.
We are partners in NATO, and then you stab your strategic partner in the back. We will do as the law dictates. You cannot simply make Turkey bow down by bossing us around.
Meanwhile, Russia is not exactly caving in the face of sanctions.
If
some ban on banks' operations or on their use of one or another currency follows, it would be possible to clearly call it a declaration of economic war. And it would be necessary to react to this war economically, politically, or if indeed, by other means. And our American friends need to understand this.
Let's remember that those sanctions on North Korea were not unilateral. They were actually imposed by the United Nations. But when it comes to the rest of the world, Trump is on his own, and it seems that his reputation as a great negotiator is on the rocks. Caleb Maupin, RT, Washington, D.C.
A news outlet, activist or radio host banned by a social media platform for violating terms of use. Sound familiar? Nowadays, just as one scandal over suspending or banning subsides, another one brews. This time, it's the Latin American news channel Telesur that's been on the receiving end of a Facebook blackout, and not for the first time. Back in January this year, the news outlet temporarily disappeared from Facebook, allegedly due to an internal mistake on the platform. Today, though, things got more serious.
Your page, Telesur English, has been removed for violating our terms of use.
Telesur say they received no further explanation of why exactly their page was removed. They see this incident as no coincidence, but rather a pattern of censorship by social media giants. Now, in case you're wondering, this isn't a case of déjà vu. Just last week, in fact, InfoWars, an alternative and controversial media platform run by Alex Jones, was also banned by YouTube, Apple and Facebook for violating policies and terms of use. Now, what do these have in common? An independent platform criticised for spreading alt-right conspiracy theories, and a left-leaning channel publicly funded by Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia, Nicaragua and Uruguay, seemingly diametrically opposed views. Well, the answer is both are critical of the American establishment, war lobby and global regime change. Both have now faced bans during the battle against fake news conducted by Facebook, along with its new partners such as the Digital Forensic Research Lab. Now, this is an offshoot of the Atlantic Council think tank, in turn a member of the Atlantic Treaty Organization, although formerly independent of NATO and Washington, openly sharing both their values and speakers. Fighting fake news is a noble cause. Terms of use are set by platforms individually. Violate them and expect a ban. Increasingly, though, the question will be asked, is it violating social media policies or violating mainstream consensus and prevalent narratives that can really land you in hot water?
Daniel Hawkins, well, we have asked Facebook to comment on why they banned the outlet. So far, they've chosen not to respond.
Michigan is now one of nearly 24 states being monitored for a measles outbreak. There have been 107 reported cases in 21 states this year, including 4 in Michigan. The CDC says a majority of those cases were diagnosed in people who were not vaccinated. Last year, there was a total of 118 cases in just 15 states. In 2014, the U.S. experienced a record number of measles cases with 667 cases in 27 states. That was the highest number of cases since the elimination of measles was documented in the U.S. 18 years ago, thanks to a highly effective vaccination program. But that's not the case anymore, which is why the state is urging people to stay up to date on the recommended vaccines.
Please vaccinate. It's so important. The diseases they are not forgotten. They're not gone from Michigan, and we need to protect our citizens.
The symptoms of measles usually show up 10 to 14 days after exposure. They include a high fever, runny nose, red eyes, sore throat, and a raised red body rash. Measles is highly contagious and is spread through coughing and sneezing. All 4 measles cases reported in Michigan this year came from exposure outside of the country.
She's the first transgender nominee for a major U.S. state office. On Tuesday, Christine Hallquist won the Democratic primary for governor in Vermont, defeating 3 others on the ballot. It lines Hallquist up to take on Republican Governor Phil Scott this November. The win's been called a defining moment for transgender rights, and Hallquist said after the vote she was proud to be standing up for minority rights across the board.
I can handle all the bigotry and all the grief in the world to know that I'm supporting people in a marginalized community. And it's not just about the transgender community, it's not just about the LGBT community, it's about all marginalized communities.
Hallquist is also confident she can take on the incumbent Governor Scott in the fall.
All Phil has is no new taxes. I have a plan to grow Vermont's economy. You know, it's one thing to just fight over the scraps on the table, but we got to put more food on the table.
Hallquist's victory comes at an uncertain time for transgender rights in the U.S. LGBT rights expanded under the administration of Barack Obama, but the Trump White House has reversed course on much of that. This year, 43 transgender candidates have run for political office at all levels in the U.S. They're mostly Democrats, but a handful have run as independents or for the Green Party. Vermont has a history of leading on gender-related issues, becoming the first state to legalize gay marriage in 2009.
safe, I guess. It's like, as a civilian, I think we often don't know what to look for or what we would be looking for. So to know that there's like specific things that people are looking for that have been used in the past and are pretty effective, like to look for a body shield or something, I think it's good.